All right, here we go. We got Tom Casey joining us here in studio because it is hot outside. Jeez, Tom. What can we be doing to help with our AC systems right now? What can we be doing to keep them from breaking down? And how do things like humidity affect the situation?
Well, I don't know that they're not going to break down because your AC is just like a car. Okay. You know, if you're going to drive across the country, you got to do some preventive maintenance, like change spark plugs and oil and things, and you got to rotate tires, and miles equals wear. And
How do I rotate the tires on my AC system?
Well, there's lots of things you can do. The equivalent of rotating tires is, but no, seriously. So the AC is working its hardest. This is literally like crunch time for it. So you got to just hopefully have done your maintenance ahead of time. Like before you go on that road trip, you take care of the car. If not, it's not too late to kind of do a mid-season pit stop and get it cleaned up. Again, because hours equal mileage. So, you know, on your car, there's recommendations at a certain mileage. Same thing with your AC, but it's more like how much it's run. The biggest problem we see a lot is the expectation of what the AC can do. You know, the AC is designed for certain conditions, and typically it'll get about 18, 20 degrees between what outside is and inside is. So if we think the thermostat's an accelerator, like a gas pedal,
no,
it is not.
Okay.
So setting it lower does not help it get colder. So set it and forget it. And the big thing that we let all of our customers know is when it's in extreme, this is record-setting weather, the pattern of heat and during the days, and humidity is off the charts beyond belief too. So it's like the double whammy. Don't turn your AC, like when you go to work, that energy saving feature to like let the temperature rise a few degrees. Big no-no in this hot weather because it will take as much or more energy to get back to that cold. And then when you come home, you're like, well, something's wrong with my AC because it's not cold like it usually is. Well, it's trying to recover at the hottest point of the day when the sun and all the temperature, humidity is just that icky, horrible Florida, the air you wear. It's no bueno. So it's set it, forget it, and call it a day. And don't try to use it as the thermostat as a gas pedal. Right. It's not. And if you set it too low and then at night it recovers, there's chances of things like freezing it up and all sorts of stuff. So just let old Bessie do her job.
Is there anything I can do for Bessie? Like, I want to hug her. I want to do like a candlelight pilgrimage.
You could put some religious candles on the top. Say a couple prayers to the AC guys. But keep all the vegetation around it. The air conditioner has to breathe. So, keep it trimmed back at least a couple feet. Make sure that, the rain every day does actually help like wash it off a little bit. Kind of like a rain. My dad always called rain a Florida car wash every day. Like you get a little wash. That helps it out. But definitely the biggest thing beyond like preventive care and having it professionally services in this extreme, just set it and forget it. And don't try to use all the fancy technology to set it back and things like that.
Interesting. Okay. Is there like a temperature, like an average temperature that each household should target? I know there's a lot of debate on this. It's a big one.
This becomes a very personal choice, right? Okay. Like, how do you want your steak cooked? You want rare, well done.
But that's different. There's only one way to cook a steak.
Rare. Pittsburgh.
Mooing. Still mooing. Yes. The trigger is comfort, right? So that is a personal choice. But in Florida, there's I'll go into the boring engineering, Tom, and tell you about something called wet bulb and dew point. If we set the thermostat too low with this high humidity, things start to sweat. Like when you take your adult beverage outside and it immediately sweats. Well, the ducts and the equipment and the vents, if we go too cold, we start to notice wet. We start to notice drips. We start to notice condensation. And so generally the safe point is 75 degrees. Now that's a toughie, I know. But again, if you go 20 degrees between inside and outside, 95 out, 75 in, that kind of matches.
Got it.
The real thing about the temperature in Florida, and this is going to sound kind of cliche. You ever talk to people from like Arizona or Las Vegas and they say, what? It's not so much
it's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat, right?
Yeah.
Well, here it's not so much the heat, it's the humidity. So what makes us feel uncomfortable at 75, 76 degrees is not just the temperature. It's because the humidity levels are higher in our house. So it feels sticky. It feels clammy. If we can dry the house, that would be better. And so one of the things is to, if people don't or haven't thought about it, put a dehumidifier, or just a regular old household one. We could put ones we duct in that are automatic. But if you can remove the extra humidity, it'll feel cooler.
Interesting.
At a higher set point. And oh, by the way, by removing that humidity, some of that moisture that drips and condensates gets taken out.
Cool.
So set it and forget it. Get a dehumidifier deployed. You can use the old bucket brigade style where you got to empty it twice a day, or we could put a whole house one in. But you're dealing with two things here: heat and humidity. And we've got to think about both. So 75.
So just leave it alone. I know a lot of my friends like adjust at night and change it
right
at night. Like they have a daytime temperature and a nighttime. Mine stays at 74 always.
Okay.
And we just kind of leave it there. But I know some. So does that affect it if they change it at night, or is it?
Yeah. So nighttime is actually setting it up. A lot of people don't do. What we find in Florida, a lot of our customers set it colder at night. And guilty as charged. Mine, I set a little cooler because I'm originally from the north, born and raised. So, we used to leave the windows cracked in the winter to let the cold air in. So,
me too, right? Just a little crisp. I like it,
Nope.
So,
I'm a 72 household over here. I'm proud of it.
But think about this. So if you have it, say, at 74 and you set it up to 78 at night or 78 while you're away, the temperature goes up, but you're also not dehumidifying during that period of time. So the humidity builds in the house too. Now, temperature we can offset pretty quickly, but humidity, again, I'll go back to like Mr. Science language. All the stuff in our house is hygroscopic. Hygroscopic, meaning it absorbs water, the furniture, the walls, the flooring. So it just collects water like a sponge. And so then when we drop the temperature, we still have all this spongy material holding humidity, which makes us feel a little, again, like something's just not quite right. So what do? We go to the thermostat and we keep going, boop, boop, down, down, down. And then we create other problems. You may not know, like up in your attic or in your garage, things are sweating and growing not such good things. You have a little science experiment going on inside your ductwork. So it's best to set it and forget it and get that humidity out and just maintain the temperature. It's like, think of it as cruise control. Where do you get the best mileage, the best everything in your car? Cruise control. So set your AC, forget it, let it do its job. When the weather's maybe not so extreme, maybe you can go back to that. But just set it to hold, leave it, and be happy you come into a nice, cool, dry house.
Thankful. Okay. Absolutely.
So dry house is key.
Dry house is super important. The opposite of the north and winter, right?
Yeah.
Where you need to add humidity.
Right.
So any of the people from the north know you can't live up there without a humidifier.
Right.
Well, just flip yourself 180 degrees. You really need a dehumidifier in summer in this weather. We live in a subtropical climate. We love it. It's awesome. Palm trees, beaches.
Oh, yeah.
But we got to deal with this humidity.
Yeah. Okay. Now, it's something we've talked about here on the show because I think we've all experienced this. You guys do your free service call. So if somebody if somebody has questions, they want to call you guys out, explain this to me, how this works.
So we didn't always have a free service call.
Okay.
We used to have a dispatch fee or diagnostic fee, and you can put any title on it. And so what we started to do is listen to the phone calls. So we're huge on like constantly improving. My team's got to be on their toes. We're always like, how do we be better? How do we be better? How do we be better? And so we're listening to calls, and the most number one question we get asked from customers is, how much do you charge for a service call? And so I was just listening to this going, we don't have a good answer. We have an answer like X dollars or whatever, but then it leads to what's included and what happens if this. So we sat down with our team and I challenged them, like, what if we just said, we don't charge for a service call? We don't charge for estimates. We have to go out to an estimate and compete and like educate customers and show them, we're the most trustworthy company and we're the right ones for the job. So I said, why don't we just do that for everything? And so there's no gimmicks. There's no funny business. It's literally just you call, we ask some questions, basically to make sure we get the right tech to your job, right tech, right job. But then we send a professional out. He assesses the situation. He sits down with you. He educates you, answers all your questions. Then together, you guys build what you want to see, what you want quoted. It's all quoted up front. So there's no like, I wonder how much it's going to cost me for this guy working in the garage. He comes in and quotes everything up front. You say yes or no. We like yes a lot more than no, just so, for the record.
Yeah.
But we accept a no gracefully. If we're not the right guys, we're not the right guys. We want the customer to be happy, even if it's not us. And then we do the work. And that we've just found people have loved it. They're like thankful, like finally, this is the way it should be. You know, you don't pay a shopping fee to go on Amazon, and you don't pay like a restaurant fee to look at the menu. So why pay a fee for a service call? Just didn't. I don't know. I've been in this business. I'm a third generation SOB, so I've been in it a long time. And I was like, duh, why didn't we think of this like way sooner? You know, this should have been always the way it was.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the techs that come out to your home, I got to tell you, the guys I dealt with were great, very friendly, very easy to work with, very nice people. So how do you find these people? How do you make sure, how do you make sure we feel comfortable bringing these techs into our house? I'll tell you, I did, but how do you find people that we're comfortable doing that with?
It's a great question. And we try to design the service call for like the customer's perspective. And we go to a lot of houses where either only, one spouse is home or spouse plus the kids. It's like kind of a vulnerable situation, right? Oh, yeah. Who's coming to my house? I never met him. I don't know him.
My family in my house,
right?
Huh?
Right.
Yeah.
So we go to the nth degree. So all our coworkers are background checked. We actually check their driving record, and we do a drug screen on them just to make sure they kind of pass the litmus test to start. And we also do something called the culture index, which is just a way to kind of understand how they think and how they behave. A, to make sure they're a good fit on our team. Like, do they fit with our team? Right. But B, that they're going to be a good communicator. They're going to have like good things. We do everything on a triple win. The customer has to win, the coworker has to win, the company has to win. And if it's not a triple, it's back to the drawing board. So a lot of training, a lot of screening. I will tell you that takes us a while to find a good person because we'll interview a lot of people who have the skills, the technical skills for their hands, but they just don't fit with our mission and how we do things. So good humans, good professionals, just not quite a Griffin person. And then, we do a lot of feedback. We do a lot of checking with our customers. How was the experience? How did Fred do? How did Sally do? And we just really aggressive on the quality control part and just making sure it's a fit and keeping things right. And of course, we have 100% satisfaction guarantee. So there's no fee on the front. And if we don't deliver a good job, we'll come back and do whatever it takes to make it right. Awesome. And if we can't, we'll give you your money back. So from a business perspective, we better pick the right folks because otherwise it's going to cost us
a lot,
literal money.
Yeah.
So, and I always say to people, I wouldn't have a person on my staff that I wouldn't feel comfortable with sending to my house when no one's home or my wife's home by herself and just here's the keys, here's the code to the door, go in. Because it's a vulnerable experience. Like you have professionals in your house. We're going to all areas of the house. There's money to be spent. It's stuff you don't know about. You have to rely that they're going to be honest and trustworthy and not lie to you or, that old like, oh, I've never seen this as bad before. Like that whole type of thing.
Right.
And so it's pretty unique person who we have. And I guess we also celebrate when they do good. Like when we hear back from customers, we share those experiences and we make sure the team knows, Davey loved this and he said this about Joe, and like just to reinforce what great legendary service looks like from a customer perspective. Yeah. Everyone expects us to fix the problem, get the water flowing again, get the AC working again, get the power back on again. But what you got to also experience is like a good experience. Yeah. Like that bedside manner, that, you get a great meal and a terrible waiter or waitress. That's not as good of a meal, right?
Right. Yeah.
You need the whole experience. Yeah. And so that's what we're going for. And your question specifically, we get most of our employees from referrals from other employees or customers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we have brother teams, father-son teams, husband-wife teams. We have a lot of like that in our company, which is kind of, we do like company outings. They're always proud, like, come up the brothers, and they're like bringing their family to work for us, which
that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. That like I want my sons to work for us. I want my brother and my wife to work for us. Yeah. That creates a certain culture, Yeah.
How is the tech team doing? I guess you guys just had Tech Appreciation Day. How was that?
That was awesome. Yeah. It was National HVAC Tech Day, and we had never done it before, and it was kind of controversial because it was hot and busy.
Yeah. They were like, we're appreciated.
So we were like, screw it. Let's just take time and celebrate our team. And we went to our vendors and some of the partners in the area, and we raffled off a ton of prizes.
Yeah.
We had like a barbecue. It was awesome. Everyone had a great time.
Saw cornhole was out there too. That's always a good
playing
one.
games and stuff. So
Nice.
I know it seems like it, but fixing ACs and plumbing is not solving world peace. I know some days when you have no AC, it feels about the magnitude of it, but you know, we got to make sure these guys, these people work, and not just our company, anybody in the trades. Imagine these guys that work in this no AC. You have no AC in your house, and they're in your attic.
Yeah.
140, 150 degrees. They're under your house.
Yeah.
They're dealing with the hardest, most difficult, vile, sometimes absolutely horribly disgusting conditions, and they come up smiling and they keep going call after call. And it's like the mail. The AC calls never stop.
Right.
You can solve them all today.
Right.
There'll be a bunch more tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know,
There's nothing worse when that
it's
air
important to
stops flowing.
appreciate them. So we celebrated them, but honestly, we celebrate them every day. We love our guys.
That's awesome.
We love on them, hug on them, that they're the best.
Good.
That's important. Well, Tom, thank you so much for coming by this morning and helping us kind of get up to speed on some of this stuff. Some of that stuff I never even knew.
Me neither.
It was the thing. I thought you should be setting your.
We talk about it all the
temperature
time.
at different
Yeah.
times, and
You're trying to be
very
more efficient, but
interesting.
you're really not.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the AC system having to catch up.
Set it and forget it.
After
Set it and
heating the
forget
house
it.
a little bit. Yeah.
My laziness actually made me right.
Isn't that great?
That is a nice one.
As a fellow lazy guy, I understand that.
Rarely works.
How do people get a hold of you guys if they want to experience a free service call? If they want to, if they got some problems at their house and they want to see how Griffin can help them.
Actually, the website's the best way, griffinservice.com.
There you go.
On there, they can book a service call, book a sales estimate. They can even buy air filters. They can purchase all sorts of stuff. We have an online store to just help people. We say shop and schedule in their pajamas because, these problems don't occur just between, 8 and 5, right?
Right.
They can also call our phone, which is 904-500-2653 or 904-GRIFFIN.
Oh, great.
So
we can say that too now. That's awesome.
And we answer our phones live, and the web, when they submit things, it's monitored live by our people, not some, third party,
Right.
foreign entity.
Right.
Awesome.
And so it's always Griffin people, because that's part of the experience.
Thank you.
Cool. Tom Casey, Griffin Services. Thank you so much for coming by this morning. We appreciate
Thanks
the
for having me. I'm
insights.
having a fun time.
Absolutely.